Hello, we're Malta, and we're going to discuss this painting here by George Furst, signed Geo Furst. So Furst was a German national who was interned in Verdala Barracks, Verdala prison, during the First World War. And while he was in the prison, he learned how to paint. He was also prominently involved with photography. So he was quite a popular prisoner. I know that sounds rather strange. He knew Mountbatten, who had German extraction and remained close to Mountbatten after the war. He became close to his fellow German prisoners who were caught on submarine, much of them, and he became quite close to Admiral Donitz and other characters who were obviously important German people in the Second World War and after. So he's not a ethnic Maltese person, and you can't really say he's a Maltese painter. You can say he was a painter of Malta, and these pictures are really very common in Malta, and few sale rooms having a picture sale will not have one of these in. Much of them are small though, and many of them have one vessel only. This painting has two vessels and they are passing each other. The most popular Furst paintings in Malta are the ones where there is a vessel passing a locality in Malta. So you'll have a boat with a hillside in Malta, or perhaps a bit of the walls of Valletta. And he painted the Maltese landscape often in the manner of Edward Caronadini, in terms of the blockiness and particularly the palette of colours. So you have this German painter. He always does very good signatures, which is of course helpful. He paints vessels without the connection of Malta. These could be in the Baltic Sea. It's not necessarily Maltese Sea, as I say, though some have got Malta in. And he has this very pleasing technique of painting. I'll try and explain to you what he's done. So he's painted this on a board. I'll show you the back. The back is a modern. I say modern. This painting, I imagine, is perhaps 1930s or 40s, could be earlier. It is an artist board, compressed artist board. It's not plywood, it's not cardboard, somewhere in the middle. It's artist board, shop bought artist board. It's not salvaged board or recycled board. And that's given us a very stiff, flat surface, which hasn't decayed and hasn't got the associated problems you get with canvas, for example. And the colour of the board is a beigey terracotta colour. You can see that coming through the sky particularly. And if you look at his paintings, you'll see a lot of them have the sky showing through elements of the base colour. So it hasn't taken the artist board and covered it in a white paint, for example, as a backing. He's just got on with it and started to put on the oil. So what he's done here is he's put the oil paint on with a palette knife, not a brush. So he's pushed the oil onto the board and he has scraped it back, introduced different colours to create the clouds, and beyond the remaining oil you have this colour coming through, and you could say it's a slightly dusky colour or dawny colour if you wanted to. On the bottom, on the water, he's used a palette knife as well, and he's put the oil on in a different way to the sky. He's put a great deal more on where the shadows are, and I think he has also used a brush to get more definition. In addition to the scraping back of the oil on the top, he's done a similar thing here, but he's also used the tip of the palette knife to put in more detail. So it's impasto, it's lumpy, it's grooved, it's sort of sgraffito, and you have a very pleasing effect. I would say that the effect is quite a rapid technique. The effect works. You have a pleasant sky with a variety of colour and texture. You have a sea that looks like sea, it doesn't look like grass. The reflections are in the right place, not the right intensity, and I think it works very well. And he's obviously painted a lot of boats and a lot of vessels, and he's done it again and again and again. He's got a little technique going, and he can produce these quite impactful, usable pictures. When I say usable picture, I mean it's a popular subject, it's a saleable subject. Few people dislike marine pictures. If it was a battleship, some people wouldn't like it. If it was a merchant vessel, barge with sand or grain, it would just be boring. But these cutters and clippers and fishing boats seem to be very popular in the marketplace. So this is in Malta for sale. It's a signed picture. It was a Maltese ethnic artist of an earlier era. This would be a very, very expensive picture. These are woefully underpriced. Woefully underpriced. I believe they're collected in Germany as well. I think that they're collected perhaps equally in Germany as they are in Malta. The frame has damage, has had damage, and has had repairs. The repairs are not perfect, but it looks reasonable. Because it's on board, it hasn't got, as I say, hasn't got the associated problems you get with canvas, and this is not a glazed picture. You obviously see some oils glazed, not many, but some, and you see many watercolours that are glazed. So I think you have a pleasant sheen, pleasant texture, large size, pleasing colours. Nice to see that coppery colour in the reflection as well. A lot of teals, lots of greens, and this unusual cardboard coloured, beigey, terracotta coloured background shown for you. That is not a common colourway in the sky. So I think overall, for an antique picture, it's about 100 years old. I think that they're going to go up in value. I think that they're very practical, usable pictures. There's a lot more going on with this character. If you go online, there's a lot of very interesting things about what he's done. And you know, he was a bit of an outsider really in Malta. Didn't enter the Maltese painter circle, the Garliers and all those sort of people. The Giannis, for example. But I think he has this body of work which is commercial and reliable and safe, and I think apart from the sort of commercial reliability, I think that it's a lovely thing to look at. Thanks for looking.